Hello, and welcome to Outer Spaces, a podcast dedicated to empowering designers and contractors in the outdoor living space.
Through this show, we hope to create a powerful resource for you, someone who is trying to grow their company but might not have all the tools and processes to do so.
On Outer Spaces, we are passionate about breaking the chains of small mindsets and helping contractors just like you take control of their businesses and their lives. My name is Joshua Gillow.
And I'm Dwayne Drawn.
Through our 40 years of combined dirt under the nails experience, we look forward to sharing tips, strategies, and other contractor success stories here on the Outer Spaces podcast.
Without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Hello, and welcome back to the Outer Spaces podcast. This is your host, Joshua Gillow, alongside Double D Drawn. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro? Just getting ready for the week. We're about to crank it out again. I mean, we've been pushing hard. We had like a nice little few days off to sort of relax, hang out with family, and just ready to rock and roll, you know?
I love it, man. And the fire yesterday in boot camp was insane. Week 5, they brought the heat.
That was crazy.
These guys came in, they just came in lit, ready to grow and go. And it was so much of a privilege to watch those guys go. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's like they were ready. Like they had probably just like, man, we're going to turn this shit out today. And they were ready for it.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. So today, guys, we have a special guest on. He's a founder of LCR Media. He also has a podcast in the same name, LCR Podcast, Media Podcast. He's the owner of Clean Cut Lawn Care Services. So he has a media company and he's in our industry, which is really freaking cool. The dude's super positive. I can't wait to open him up and hear his story and get him going. So we're going to welcome on board here, Naylor Tellerifo. How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Doing
Thanks
well.
for having me.
Absolutely, dude. So I probably butchered your last name. So say that correctly for me.
I wasn't going to say anything, but it's Taliaferro.
Taliaferro. Got it.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry. Names are important. So we want to make sure we get them right for sure.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm used to it. You know, I don't have a traditional name by any means. So my first and last name are challenging for most. So yeah. I'm used to it.
I love it.
How do you pronounce your first name?
Naylor.
Naylor.
Yeah.
That's like some Lord of the Rings type shit.
Yeah, I love it.
Naylor.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like phonetic, you know. I mean, people look at it and they think because it's spelled like Taylor, so they try and pronounce it that way, but it's not pronounced like Taylor. It's pronounced like Naylor. Yeah, Naylor. It's pronounced the way phonetically if you did it that way.
No, it's important, dude. Names are important, so I want to make sure we get that right and listeners know who they're talking to. And I love the nuances within sounds. It's just amazing stuff. But
yeah, so my podcast has been helping with that because every my intro, I always say my name. So like now when I meet people in person, like so many people now know how to say my name. I'm like, nice.
That's what it's all about. That's what the podcast is.
I started the podcast just to get people to get my name right.
I love that, dude. It's a great option for sure. So dude, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you start out? How did you find lawn care and how the hell did you end up in the media business?
Yeah, I mean, it all has connected in some way, but it just started basically with me. I was in retail. I started in retail, like in college, just like a cashier, that kind of stuff. Worked at the Gap through college. And like 1 year into it, I decided to, you know, save money. I wanted to get a car and had some like young adult type goals and then decided to go into the management program and became full-time, started like as like a supervisor and just worked my way up quickly into the management system and was an assistant manager a few years later and worked through several different large companies. 15 years in, you know, retail management, managing all these different stores from assistant manager to store manager. And I never really thought I was going to be in retail management my whole life. That wasn't like a goal or anything. It was just kind of something that evolved. Like people had said that I had some natural leadership qualities and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And it's just because it seemed natural to me, a lot of parts of management. So I just did that. But as I got older and I met my now wife and then we got married, had kids, like my life was going one way and retail management was going a whole nother way, especially once Amazon took over and online commerce and all e-commerce, all that stuff just completely changed in brick and mortar stores, put a lot more pressure and stress on the companies, which trickled all the way down to management. And then the management have to put that on the employees and all that. So it got old really quick, and I just had no quality of life. I never really got to see my family or enjoy life. I was super stressed, super depressed. It became like a really bad situation. But during that time frame, I became one of those homeowners that love lawns. I got the green thumb, which just, there wasn't this was like 20 years ago when it really started, and there was like no internet like there is now. Like there was internet, but there wasn't all YouTube videos and all this content and podcasts and training programs and boot camps. There was none of that. There was like Gopher software or something, if you remember that. There was like super OG stuff, like and a book at Lowe's and a book at Home Depot for lawn care. And I'm looking at the back of Scott's fertilizer bags and trial and error, and became that lawn guy on a homeowner level, had the envy of the neighborhood lawn and all that kind of stuff. And I just really enjoyed it. So that was all behind the scenes. And I thought to myself one time, towards the end, I'm like, man, it would be really cool if I just had my own lawn care business, mowing lawns. But at that time, that wasn't even a thing. Like there was landscape companies. You had to have like a landscape company do your whole property, including mowing lawns. There wasn't guys driving around with trucks and trailers, back 15, 20 years ago, as crazy as that might seem. It was big companies, and it was kind of like frowned down upon as oh, wow, you have a landscape company? Like, oh, like, are you fancy now, And then, you fast forward to now and it's the complete opposite, right? Everyone and their mother has a specialized business, whether you're just mowing, whether you're whether you're doing all of it. You don't have to have a massive landscape company. And now it's like, oh, you don't have someone taking care of your property? What the heck are you doing with your life? Like, you're wasting time mowing your lawn. Who wants to do that? Complete shift of the service business and industry, because I think everyone's valuing their time more now, especially the younger generations with all the technology, and they're like, what do I want to waste my time doing this stuff for? I want to spend my time going out and doing things with my friends and family, or making money, or whatever, like, instead of the chores, cleaning the house, mowing the lawn, all that kind of stuff. So huge transition there. And in the midst of all that is when I decided to just quit retail. I started 1 year part-time mowing lawns with my Husqvarna push mower, 21-inch push mower, my Ryobi hand trimmer and blower, from Lowe's or whatever, and just tried it while I was still working like 60 plus hours in retail management, and just had a complete mental breakdown in the process. And the kicker was, my boss came into my office and looked up at the pictures of my family on the wall and said, wow, you've got a beautiful family. And I'm like, what is this guy getting at? And he's like, you're going to have to choose. It's either them or this company, because you can't do both. And like, yeah, the reaction that you guys are showing is always the reaction. Like, I'm like, in my head, I was like, did he actually just say that? Like, is that even like, how in the world? So that was just like kind of shattered everything that I had left holding on, So I just really had no options but to just quit, because I couldn't. That was the breaking point, really. That was the catalyst. I cannot work for this guy. I can't work for this company. This industry as a whole is just not for me anymore. I need to do something else. So I just put in my 2 weeks notice and leaned in on lawn care, which I had just started part-time. And I went, and this was right around the holidays. So it was a good timing for me to like really focus on over the winter couple of months to just really hit the ground running in the spring. And that's what I did. And I went full-time, went all in, and the rest is history. I mean, there's a couple little details, like I borrowed some money from a family member to get a 5x10 open trailer and a commercial walk behind mower. Still used my homeowner stuff that I had, traded in my Jeep Compass for a F-150, which the first year part-time, I was shoving everything in the back of my Jeep Compass. I have very similar origin stories to so many guys out there and girls out there that have started. But I quickly transitioned into whatever I could to start going full-time and making it happen, and hit the ground running, from year one. Did a lot of marketing and stuff, and learned a lot of things, and got 30 weekly clients right out the gate, and just kept going. And I haven't looked back ever since. So that's kind of like that part. And then I transitioned into some social media stuff too. So I don't know if you wanted to take a quick interjection there, if you had any questions about that before I just rattle off any more stuff. But that's like how I got into that's how I got into lawn care. That's kind of like the shortest summary of a lot of things there.
I love it.
How did you feel like when because there's some times where you accept BS in the beginning, you don't realize that you're accepting it. So how did you feel when that guy first said that to you? Did you accept it at first and you went home and thought about it, or did it hit you right then and there?
No, it hit me right then and there. Like I was already like on the verge of like I'm being real with you guys. I was literally on the verge of having a mental breakdown already. Like my marriage was being destroyed. I barely saw my kids. Like so many epic things, some things that are too personal for me to even share anywhere for a lot of different reasons. But ultimately I was in a very self-destructive mindset, and like I was just sabotaging myself. Like literally it was like my mind and the universe was conspiring against me to get me out of that situation. That's kind of like how it happens, in history with human nature. Like we have to hit rock bottom, unfortunately, before we change. That's just the unfortunate thing with the human brain. But so I was already like done. And when that happened, it was literally like the crushing blow. I was like, whatever, man. So I mean, like, thank you to that nice guy, thank you to that whatever. We'll keep some of those names. We'll keep it PG, but thank you to him for just throwing me, out to the wolves and just let me finally just give up and just quit, and just that was it. So, but yeah, I did not think about that at all. I was already like on my way out, like mentally just checking out, and he just, but I was still trying to hang in there for my family, right? I didn't like, I was doing lawn care part-time, but I don't even know what would have happened if he didn't kind of give me that ultimatum. I might have still strung it along. I don't really know, but because I mean, at the end of the day, I have to pay bills and support my family. You know what I mean? Like, sure. So yeah, but that was really the icing on the cake, or whatever, the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I was just done after that, 100%.
Dude, it's an insane question to ask any human. You're gonna pick your family over a business. It's like, seriously, like, is that even a question? But it's,
and I'm doing this for my family. Exactly. I'm suffering and killing myself mentally and emotionally for my family. And these people could seem to care less, because they're just like, oh my gosh, the pressures of making our numbers and, this massive company, all this. And I'm just like, they don't understand, or even really care, I guess, about how it impacts everyone, the thousands and thousands of employees. It's hard, obviously, to address everyone. They're looking at the bigger picture, but I just had to get out of there.
You made the right move, of course. Yeah. Family first, always. It
wasn't just the company either. It was more about retail as a whole. Like I had gone to a couple other companies thinking it was just, maybe it's just a company. Maybe if I work with the right boss, the right company, and that happens, right? Like if you have a great boss, a great leader, and a company that you enjoy working for, that kind of helps. But really, that's just stalling. It's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on the overall problem, which is I wasn't a good fit for retail anymore. My quality of life and my picture of my life wasn't connected with the retail life. That's for someone, but not for me.
Yeah. Totally. So you start out, I mean, you're already in lawn care. You're going into it wide open now, right? This has to work. It's burn the boats, bitch. We're going forward with this.
Yeah.
What are some of the things? Yeah, what are some of the things you learned along that early days when you first had like the awareness come out? You're like, holy shit, this has to be it. Like, what are some things you learned?
Yeah, I mean, I just went crazy with researching. Like the fear of failure motivated me to do whatever I had to do. So I just did a ton of research immediately on the internet, and just started figuring, and I think my retail management background helped with certain things, like just the whole business stuff about it. Like, I knew I wanted to be professional and branded. I looked for logo immediately and coming up with a company name, because I didn't even have that. I don't know if I even had that my first year part-time, but I made sure that all that was honed in. I mean, I've changed colors of my branding. Like it's always been the same logo, but like, I had yellow shirts at one point, green shirts. Like I've changed different things over the years, but like I always like had my, my business name, got that registered, got all the stuff I needed, found a logo, started trying to get all professional, a magnet for my truck. I didn't have an enclosed trailer to wrap at the time. Like, I focused on key things that I thought were going to be critically important, so that I knew branding was a big thing, and I really wanted to make sure that I started that immediately, because that's going to help spread word of mouth. When you're driving around the neighborhoods and people recognize your logo, your setup, whatever, they're going to start thinking about you and recommending you. And when they're looking for a lawn care company, they're, you're top of mind, that kind of stuff. So that was like right out the gate. But then I really was looking from the technician standpoint, because I was a homeowner trying to become a professional, and I wanted to be a professional, and I wanted to make sure I I honed in my hedge trimming skills and, what is all encompasses, mowing the lawn. I mean, I know what I do, but is that what you're, what you ask people to pay you for? Like, what does that encompass? And what's pricing look like? What, all these different things. So I was just Googling all that stuff. And that's how I stumbled upon the infancy of this lawn and landscape community that I know you guys know all about. And I stumbled upon some guys on YouTube, like Spencer's Lawn Care was like one of the early ones that's still doing it now. And a bunch of other guys that don't do it anymore, but like the Lawn Care Millionaire, if you guys know who that is, he was Jonathan Potoshnik with Service Autopilot and, his lawn care business, City Turf. He was making YouTube content way back then. So there was just some early guys that I kind of jumped on, was like, oh man, there's a lot of great knowledge here. And Spencer was more like, hey, I'm early years of my business. Here's what I'm doing. And that was kind of fun to watch him and kind of log through his life with that. And then Jonathan, Lawn Care Millionaire, was like, just standing there giving you straight knowledge, like two-man crew versus three-man crew, boom, like 10 minutes, bam. And you're like, I'm like, my brain just exploded after that, so that was just like hardcore training and knowledge. So there was like a lot of different dynamics there. So that helped me also learn and grow. And then I also realized I wanted to be a part of this community. I was like, man, this is a really cool, I can see the same kind of people in the comments and stuff. And, I started commenting and subscribing. I had to create a YouTube channel or YouTube account to subscribe and comment and all that kind of stuff. And then I quickly, within a year, was like, I want to be a part of this community. I want to start making content. I want to start sharing my ups and downs. Cause a lot of the stuff was like, like Jonathan's talking about like epic stuff. He's the Lawn Care Millionaire. He's talking about, how to become a millionaire. And I'm like, well, what about like, what do you do, when you're like bust a backflow pipe when you're trimming up against the house? You know what I mean? No one's talking about that kind of stuff. Like, so I was like, let me just start a channel, call it Lawn Care Rookie, because I wanted people to clearly understand that I'm a rookie and I'm making rookie mistakes and doing rookie things, trying new things, and just learning, and sharing while I learn. Sometimes it's just mistakes I'm learning and asking for feedback. And other times like, hey, look at what I discovered. Look at what I figured out, maybe this will help you. And that's how that all started. And it's just grown from there into LCR Media, which stands for Lawn Care Rookie. So
I love that.
You really make me sound like a dinosaur, feel like a dinosaur in this business. Like, it is so dope that you're able to start your business and then look at YouTube videos, podcasts, all that stuff to learn more. I just remember when we were in the game, there was just nothing like that. Like there wasn't a mentor you could talk to. You couldn't even really go to a family member because they didn't understand the aspects of business. They would tell you to go get a Sears lawnmower or a Home Light weed eater, to save you some money and do that. Like, you just didn't have what's going on now. And I'm listening to you, like, I was able to watch this. I was able to look at this. Even having somebody who was a millionaire that you could even talk to do that. And then now you've created videos on, hey, if you blow a backflow valve, or you probably have other videos if you do this or load your trailer this way, things like that. Man, wow. Like we didn't have any of that stuff in the beginning.
Yeah. We had to figure it out on our own.
And that's only recent too, because like I said, it's probably about 20 years ago that I even thought about lawn care, but I was still just a homeowner, just like thought that was a pipe dream because, no one was doing that. It was just big landscape companies. And I thought that was such a daunting task. Like, I don't know, the first thing about creating this massive landscape company, but then maybe 5 years, I guess, after that thought is when all of a sudden things just started taking off and people were like, hey man, I can just mow lawns. I can just treat yards. And like, it just quickly turned into more of a specialized business in our service industry for lawn and landscaping. You didn't have to have a big, massive company to focus on certain things. So that it became more ideal. And it was perfect timing because that's when I was like on my way out and needed to get out of retail quick. So some time had passed there because initially, like you said, there was nothing. There was no YouTube channels or people or anything. I Googled was like random stuff. Like I said, like Gopher software or something, if that's even what it was called. Like there's hardly anything out there for lawn care and landscaping online until, like a few years after I thought about it. And that was 10 years ago, maybe, we'll say that some of these guys started making YouTube. I've been doing it for 8 years. So it had to have been 9 or 10 years. I think 2013 maybe was when Lawn Care Millionaire said, or 2012 maybe is when he started. So we're talking 10 years ago, when that finally just started getting info out there. So yeah, a lot's changed in kind of a short amount of time.
How has it impacted your life, your business, all of that by adding, I like to call it value first, right? That's what YouTube always plays. Like you're just constantly creating content, giving it away, and it creates that value. So how have you seen that has impacted your business?
Well, it's the friendships for one thing, the having peers and mentors helping me grow my business as well as personally. I've been to so many different events now. I brought my wife to different ones. She knows, certain people and they know her. And, I talk about everyone anyway, even if she's never met them. So she just kind of knows a lot of people from name. Even my kids know some folks. Like it just becomes like a big family, to a certain extent. And we've all helped each other in so many ways. People have said I've helped them with different things. So it just becomes that whole peer mentor relationship that you would not normally have without social media and just the internet in general. And not only that, but there's so many people that you see in your own town that you might, without social media, if this was never even a thing, the community and online and YouTube and all that, we might have still the friendly ones of us, like myself with that mindset might still throw a hand up, a wave, like a nod, like, hey, what's up? Or whatever, might say, hey, at the gas station or something. But social media takes it to a whole nother level because now people identify me from whatever they found me on social media. If I have a 500,000 view video or something, it's kind of hard to not be recognized when you see my specific setup that was in that video or something. Or it could just even be on Instagram. I don't have, hundreds of thousands of subscribers or anything or followers or anything on Instagram. But if people are looking for their local area, and they click on it, Midlothian tag or Richmond tag, and they see all the posts and they see my post and they're like, I've seen that truck before. I know that guy. Wow, he's local. And the next time they see me driving down or they see me at the dealer that we probably saw each other plenty of times, but we were just strangers and just said, hey, now they're like, hey, you're that guy. And it's like so many times that happen. Hey, you're the guy on Instagram, right? Yeah. We just talking in the dealership about stuff and hey, here's my business card. I'm like, here's my business card. And they're like, oh, look at his business card. We got to get a business card like this, like little things like that I just take for granted. A lot of stuff I just discover on my own, or maybe I learned from somewhere on online, but I just take for granted that everyone does that or would know that until, you put it out there and they're like, oh, that's a great idea. I didn't know that. Or you meet someone in person from the internet, following you on the internet, and then they have the same, oh, thanks for that video about such and such, or that post was awesome or whatever. And you just realize now, wow, you really are part of this community and you're helping them just as much as they're helping me, but so it really helps connect people. There's so many people locally I would have never, ever met because they're in totally different areas, 20 minutes away from me. And we might have passed each other on a highway or something. And that's about it. I might have visually identified their setup or their business name, but we would have never interacted in any way if it wasn't for social media. So it just brings people together on a whole new level, which was the whole purpose, right? That was kind of what Facebook's whole point was back in the day, is to connect people, and things have just obviously evolved, but there's still that connection, engagement, relationship basis of all social media.
There's a huge uptick in that. And sometimes I wonder, is it just the lawn care landscape industry? Because, that's what we're in, so we notice it. But I remember, we're going to go back to my dinosaur days, that when we used to meet contractors, we only really met them at the supplier. So as we were going to buy stuff, so hey, and you didn't even really get nobody's phone number because there was sort of this competition, but not competition. So you would see him at a supplier. Hey, what's going on? If you see him twice, hey, that's James, or that's Joe, or that's Kevin. And you sort of went from there. Now it's this brotherhood. And now it's like when you see each other, hey man, did you take care of that deal? Hey, did you get that website? Did you get that tool? It's like now we're not only working with each other, but we're trying to level each other up. Are you seeing that on a heavy uptick on your side too?
Absolutely, 100%. And also, I will say that I've worked with some brands that are multiple industries, whatever the other industries are that aren't lawn and landscape, but they might be similar, whatever it is. It's a service-based industry that still would utilize these brands. And they have told me that we are literally the only industry that they have worked with that is like this. Like usually in the other industries, it's more of a dog eat dog situation. There's a lot more competition, even from YouTubers. We're talking about like quote unquote competition when you're at the supply yard or whatever. And that's still the thing. Like there's still those guys driving, I'll throw them a hand wave and a nod and they just keep on rolling with the give me throwing me shade. And I'm like, what is that all about? That's not necessary. There's plenty of work out here where, we can only help each other, not hurt each other. But those are the people that don't watch your videos or they comment negative stuff. Those are the haters. Like no one really cares about those people. So those people still exist, but you wouldn't really, it's hard to find the other people without social media, and the other industries apparently are consumed with those kind of hater folks, those quote unquote competition, according to these other brands, and then you take it to like a social media, like a content creation influencer, YouTube, whatever you want to call it. That is the same thing, like they're not collaborating with each other like we do constantly. They're not creating events and being guest speakers together and all this stuff to bring value and help each other. No, they're like, no, I'm not, you're not going to be on my channel and this and that. And it becomes like a true competition even with that. So it apparently blows these brands' minds when they work with us and they see, or they discover our community within our industry, and they see how well we all work together and how we help each other. And obviously it's easier on social media to help someone in different states because you feel like no kind of competition whatsoever. So that's a thing. But even still within our local towns and communities, we find those groups that we'll tell each other everything, like how much do you charge, this and that, but and help each other out. When do you send out emails for aerations, like whatever, like because we're just in the same mindset. But we might have never discovered each other if it wasn't for social media. But I do think our industry is as far behind as our industry is in a lot of things, right? But we are ahead of so many other industries with the way that we think and connect. And we have the like-minded brotherhood, as you were saying, where we all have very similar stories. We've all been through the grind. We've either grown up in, it's like two main things. We either grew up in this industry and it was a grind, family, grind, all that stuff, where there's a lot of connections there and commonalities there, or we came into this industry we got fired from a job, or we had to quit a job that we couldn't take anymore. And this was kind of like the thing, or it was actually a passion, or both. Those are like the two main things. And it connects us all because we have very similar stories.
I love that. And so Naylor, when you hear I got the name right that time,
yeah,
right?
That was good. I was
I'm practicing. All right, so let's play this out. I'm a new lawn care landscape professional just getting into this. I want to build a social media platform. Like as far as I want to build a presence, I want to help people. What are some tricks, some ideas, some thoughts, some things you used along the way that helped, rocket you into where you are now? Like, what does that look like? How could I get in there if I was that person?
Yeah, so Facebook is still hands down the number one easiest and quickest way to market and get involved, get your name out there. So when I first started, even though this was 8 years ago, same things still are relevant for Facebook. It's not like there was a feature back then that doesn't exist. In fact, there's newer features now to really make you even more engaged. But obviously, if you have zero people, following your business page, well, one, you need to create a business page. One, you need to have a Facebook personal account.
Start out there, yeah.
Some people like, I don't need Facebook. I don't need blah, blah, blah. It's okay, whatever. Like those are the people that are going to struggle. But if you're really like brand new and you're looking for a way to start out and you're listening to this, typically you are open-minded to this kind of stuff. So you want to create a personal Facebook page. Like don't get lost in the rabbit holes of that and scrolling or whatever. And if you just start, you won't have anyone to do that anyway. But Facebook will, send you all this stuff. So don't get lost in that. Just get a personal Facebook page, profile, and then create a business page, a Facebook business page. It's like the second best thing to having a website. The only difference really is that you can't control your Facebook business page. Facebook controls who sees it, when, and how, unless you pay them and all that stuff. Where a business, a website, you pay a monthly, fee for the website, but then you control everything about your website, what you want to do with it, how you want to do it, how you want it to look, what you want to promote it to, share it, all that kind of stuff. But you have to pay for that every month versus Facebook is free unless you boost it. So if you start there, then you're saving money because it's free. Start off, get your name out there. If you are fortunate enough, like I was, to live in a community, AKA HOA, homeowner association, that has a closed Facebook group with, 700 plus houses in it. That's hundreds of people that are on Facebook that you can immediately market your business to. And that's exactly what I did. And if you don't have that fortunate and you don't know someone in one of those neighborhoods, I mean, we're going to like the absolute worst case scenario. Like, say you literally just moved to this town, this state, this town, this neighborhood, zero people anywhere, and you're starting from scratch. Okay, well then, if that's the case, with all the Facebook, go ahead and Google, go in Facebook, and search the neighborhood names that you want to be in, and there's usually a handful, if not more than that, random other groups that are public that were created for those groups. You'll find the private ones that you won't typically you could try and join them, but typically you won't be let in unless you meet whatever criteria, like you normally have to live there. But there's other ones outside of that are public because they want to take stuff out of the private one so it doesn't get convoluted with advertisement. People in the neighborhood advertising their all their different services. Hey, we do housekeeping. Hey, we do bookkeeping. Hey, we do taxes. Like, that's cool, but it's like they want to save that for the real important stuff, like communicating stuff about the neighborhood, and we're having a fair today, or food truck, they want to keep it for that. But then they have the other stuff on other public ones, buy, sell, trade, all these kind of things like that. So find those and then advertise in there. You join them, like respond to some of the posts and kind of become an engaging person in there, so you're not just super spammy right out the gate, and just start organically posting some of your business things, your services or whatever. Typically when it's like a season coming up, that's a good time. Like, hey, it's time for, lawns are going to be mowed soon. Spring is coming, or aeration season, fall's coming, whatever it is, time to trim the bushes. Hey, it's fresh mulch time, mulch madness in March, right? Let's get some fresh mulch, like whatever it is, you doll it up and you can advertise it that way. So any of those things I said, whether you do it like that, or someone, or you actually live in there like I did, you just need to start branding yourself and putting some stuff out there so that people can get your name, see you, and then you just get a job here and a job there. And once you get in these neighborhoods, you just need to do a great job, have a great relationship with these people, and then we'll just start spreading your word of mouth for you. They'll start spreading through word of mouth for you, telling their neighbors. People ask on Facebook for recommendations, and then they automatically refer you. And so so that happened right out the gate, and that helped me get like 30 something people immediately. I did a Facebook event, which was a brand new thing apparently back then. I just talked to someone else yesterday, and they told me that was right around the time that Facebook started doing events. And when you do new things for these social media platforms that they're excited about, they're going to help you, do well with those things. So, they're going to help boost it and all this kind of stuff. So I did an event for my business. It was like a lawn edging event. I realized as a homeowner that most people either don't know how to edge and trim, like along the grass to driveway, grass to mulch, like they don't know how to edge that stuff, or they're breaking stuff, hitting themselves in the face, they're scared, or they have jaggedy, lines or whatever. So they don't do it, or they don't do a good job, unless they're like I was, that was like really, obsessed with it. Those are few and far between. So I thought that would be a good opportunity to do that for people and get my name out there. So I created an edging event, lawn edging event, and I went on vacation with my family this time of year. It was winter. It was, like I said, I quit retail and we had one vacation planned. And I put that out there to that Facebook group, and as we're on vacation, more and more people were clicking, going, or whatever the wording was back then, just becoming a part of joining that event. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my wife's like, what are you going to do? Like, how many were you thinking that you were going to get? What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to get them all done? I was like, I don't know, we'll have to figure it out. I ultimately had like over 40 something people, like accept this event. So I'm out there just edging away. And while you're out there, neighbors are like, hey, can you do my yard? Hey, this hit. And then I'm like, oh, I also do that. What other services do you offer? I offer this, I offer that. And that's how I quickly got 30 something. I think it was like 32, whatever it was. I know it was 30 something weekly clients right out the bat, like mowing lawns. And then of course, all the side stuff like, hey, we'll trim your bushes. Hey, we'll prune your crepe myrtles. Hey, we'll put fresh mulch down. And that's how it all started. Year one, full time. So I just like right out the gate was like, man, I can't do this with a push mower. So I borrowed money for that walk behind mower and the trailer, and traded in my Jeep for a pickup truck, and just hit the ground running and just evolved from there. But Facebook was and still is the easiest best way to really get your name out there from a business standpoint. And then as you grow and you get more money, get a website, this, that, and the other thing, and boost some Facebook posts and just really try it out. I did a lot of other things too, like postcards, flyers. I did everything. I tried everything because I didn't want to fail. So I just tried anything and everything that I could think of and that I could find online that was tips and tricks, these YouTubers and doing stuff, so many different things I tried. And, you never know until you try, right? But Facebook has always been the best thing. I mean, I got some success from flyers and postcards, but you just need one customer to contact you and you get a year contract with them and it pays for all those postcards. So, I mean, you might have wasted your time putting them all out, but if you just get one, that pays for itself. And that one got me like 8 or 9 in that same neighborhood over the next couple of years. So, but Facebook has always been the consistent one, and it's super easy. And, you're just constantly updating it. It's like a nice portfolio, and it adds to your SEO, search engine optimization. Just one more thing for people to see your name. So when they Google you, either your business because they see you drive by or something, or they Google lawn care, you just, one more thing for you to pop up. Oh, I got a Facebook. Oh, website. Oh, this. Oh, Google My Business. Like all these things, you just got to start chipping away at that stuff to really market your business. Again, Google, if you do Google My Business, Google loves that right now. They have for years. So the more reviews you put on Google My Business, the more pictures you update on there. I get thousands of views. I'm like, where are these people coming from? They're all over like Richmond, and I'm in Midlothian. Like, I don't want to be going to Richmond. I want to be in Midlothian. So it gets a little hectic sometimes to filter those people out. But the SEO is there, man. There's like 3 or 4 different things that pop up when people look for lawn care or Google my business name. And they're just like clicking on all these different links, and they could just see all the reviews, all the pictures. That's the number one way people find me, other than just asking for tips on the Facebook group. And then because I have 3 major neighborhoods that I'm in right now for route density, and they're all next to each other basically, and we've got over 20 clients in each one. So now when someone asks for recommendation, it gets overwhelming for people, because if only half of my clients recommend me, that's 10 different people recommend. They're like, oh my gosh, like it's almost like they're peer pressure to contact me. Yeah. I guess we have to give this guy a shot, man. Yeah. Like, we're like, he's getting the whole circle and we're the only ones. What the heck's wrong with us? So it's become a really good thing. But that's 8 years in the making, right? But right out the gate, year 1, I started with Facebook and just grew from there. Facebook and branding. Like I said, all of my logos everywhere and everything is consistent. Postcards look the same. The back of my postcard looked like my truck, right? Mm-hmm. White with my logo. My logo obviously on Facebook is the same when I promote that. I look the same. My uniforms, all that stuff. So I'm trying to hit people 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways, the exact same way, to get that branding out there for people, so that's like embedded in their mind, my business, when they think of lawn care.
Love that. That's cool. So question for you, if I understand now that, Facebook's the best place to go. I agree with that. All right, so I'm going to start shooting content. What is good content to put on YouTube and Facebook? Like, what should I be thinking about?
Yeah, the easiest things are pictures. I mean, before I even started making YouTube videos, which is really like a year into my business, like it didn't take very long before I dove in because I wanted to be a part of it, and just kind of figured that out. But pictures are the easiest thing for everyone, even me still. Like, it's so much easier for me to throw stuff up. Put stuff, post things, I still put some thought into it, but I mean, it's so much quicker and easier on the fly in my truck. After I've just taken some pictures, when I have completed a project, before and afters, whatever, throughout the day. It's easy to take those pictures. Sometimes it's hard to remember, but you just take those pictures, and then you can just sit down, you can post them on Facebook, Instagram, and it's so much easier than having to like think about putting together a video. But you can even do that too, little video clips like, this lawn's got a lot of weeds, this is how I'm going to take care of them, or look at this mulch bed, and we're going to take all these weeds out, re-edge it, and put down some fresh mulch. Like, you can put little videos like that. Everyone's phone nowadays are super high quality. Mm-hmm. So it all works out where anyone can be, good at pictures and video from a business perspective. You're not trying to be like a YouTuber necessarily, a YouTube celebrity. You're just trying to get some info out there for your customers. And that's really what it comes down to.
Perfect. No, that's for sure. So, and do you find that it's people engage more with certain types of content, or is it kind of all about the same?
Like customer wise?
No, customers or even other professionals, depending on where your target's at.
Yeah. I mean, I would say customers really are just Facebook, driven. I wouldn't say just, but it's mainly Facebook and a little bit of Instagram, but I don't really post much about my business on Instagram. Like it's typically just Facebook. But I have had, because I guess I have so many videos out there, and some of them have some pretty decent views. And I have had people stumble upon me on YouTube. Like some of my videos have my equipment dealer, like on my intro of the video, it shows like, the equipment dealer, and then it shows like my trailer and all this kind of fun stuff. And people recognize all those things. So like not too long ago, sometime this past year, someone contacted me because they said they were, I don't know how they even found the video, but they were watching a YouTube video of mine, and they saw my trailer, they saw the name of the dealership, and they connected that we were all local. It's like, oh my goodness. And they contacted me. They looked me up and they contacted me for a quote. They were out of my service area, so unfortunately there was nothing going on there, but it was still kind of funny and cool that they found me on YouTube and connected all those dots. But I think from a business standpoint, mainly it's Facebook. I have had also Instagram and YouTube is where all of my fellow lawn care and landscaping bros and sisters find me on there, because they're on there either researching themselves, or they're just looking for, or they're just trying to promote themselves, and just kind of by default, they get suggested stuff by the algorithms, and then they're like, oh, look at this guy or whatever. And so, yeah, that's just all the way around, man. The more you put yourself out there, the more you're going to be found by everybody. So.
Yeah, one of my buddies out of California, him and I were doing a bunch of YouTube stuff. And what we found out was YouTube is actually the second largest search engine behind Google. We didn't realize that until we started putting heavy on there. But the issue with YouTube is you have to pound those videos back to back to back. To stay out there. And so I noticed a difference. What happened was he stayed with YouTube, and I brushed over and focused on Facebook. And the question I have for you in Facebook, are you seeing most of your traffic coming off your personal when you're in the groups, or how are you getting them from the business page boost?
A little of both, I would say. A little of both. When you put enough content out there, everyone's going to just find it, like, no matter what. But I would say my Facebook business page is probably more customers that are finding it, and friends or whatever will kind of stumble upon it. And then obviously, because of, not obviously maybe, but all of the stuff that I've done and all the followers that I have on various platforms, they'll discover my business page too. Like I never promote that on my YouTube channel or anything like that. I try to keep it separate, and people might see the stuff on my videos, and then obviously they know, but I'm never like promoting my business or anything like that, or talking about it. But just organically, I think people will find it just from the algorithms. A lot of times they'll get recommended, like, hey, you're friends with this person, check out this, but it's mainly customers that I'm getting from all that, because it just comes up when they're researching lawn care and they find it, or if I do any kind of boosted posts, then obviously that's targeting certain people there. And that's another thing. Facebook is really good. It is the best so far for my opinion. And I feel that's valid with a lot of folks. It's the best at dialing in. So like for me, I'm all about route density, which is keeping as many of your accounts close together, especially with maintenance. It's really not it's not profitable for you to be driving all over town. I mean, if you've got big landscaping jobs or whatever, and you're putting all your equipment on property and leaving it there throughout the, for like a few days that you're working on it, and the guys just come back and forth every day, like you can factor that in a little bit more, and that there's more, you can still have those good profit margins. But when you're just going out mowing someone's lawn or spraying weeds, you should keep them as close together as possible. So why would you want to do a marketing strategy that's just kind of way out there with multiple zip codes or whatever? Like you want to really dial in, even within one zip code, dial in certain neighborhoods within that zip code. So Facebook, you can dial it super, like you can just like hone in, like make that circle so tight. You can just focus on one neighborhood if you want. Obviously you're going to get less results, but if that's what you want to focus on, then that's going to really increase your route density. Even if you get a couple people in that one neighborhood, or a couple more people in that neighborhood, or maybe it's a new neighborhood you want to focus on, once you get in there with a couple, even one, then the rest is up to you to grow within that. So
awesome. So Naylor, if you had to give your top three advice for someone starting out in social media, real quick, down and dirty, like the simplest things, like what are three things that come to mind that I could do today? I mean, we already know we're going to Facebook. I know now what kind of content I need to create. Is there a certain cadence or anything, or like what are the top three things that I should be thinking about that help me launch the quickest, fastest way you can think?
I mean, also what we didn't really, I kind of briefly touched upon it, but make sure you're taking pictures constantly. You know, like all the phones are really good quality these days. I don't think there's an old dinosaur even left in existence really that takes bad pictures. So just, you know, take as many pictures as you can, different lighting, different whatever, take multiple of the same shot so you can have the best pictures that you can. You don't have to be a photographer. You know, I mean, the camera phones are going to do most of the work. So focus on that as much as you can. You have to get in a routine of that. Like, you know, part of your routine, like when you show up to the property, take a picture. When you're done with the property, take a picture. Like try and get into that cadence, that habit, so you don't forget. And this way you'll hopefully have a decent amount of pictures. And then this way, when you have your Facebook page, business page, you can just start uploading them, you know, like on a daily basis. You know, when you're really hitting the grind and you're really trying to get stuff done, trying to grow, like you should be doing this like every day. Because the more you put stuff on Facebook and Google My Business, the more you keep the content fresh, the more it's going to keep it up there at the top of the list and going to keep promoting you and all that. So when you haven't posted for a while, some people might even think, does this company even really, are they even doing anything? Like, are they still in business? Like what's going on? A lot of people just kind of forget about their Facebook page, even if they go out of business. So you want to keep it fresh. I don't post all day, every day for Facebook business because I'm not trying to like go out there like gangbusters. I'm, you know, like a slower growth right now, like nice organic, you know, getting the right route density and not trying to get as much. But when you're first starting out, you know, you got to get something somewhere and start off. So I would definitely recommend posting daily, you know, as much as possible, at least 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. It could be part of your job, right? Like you're taking pictures while you're working on the stuff. And then either at the end of the day or lunchtime or in between each yard, you can, you know, at some point just post something on your Facebook business page. And that just keeps adding to your portfolio. As people finally start finding you on Facebook, then they can see all your work. Try and think of, you know, like the events. That's probably still a cool thing. I mean, it's not as new as it was 8 years ago, but it still exists. You know, I use Facebook events for other things, you know, so you can definitely do that and you can promote that, you know, to someone somewhere. You know, if you have a friend, or like I said, if you're brand new and find one of those buy, sell, trade pages from one of the neighborhoods that you want to be in or whatever, and you can put that in there. Hey, we've got this, you know, aeration event or whatever, just something that's more of a seasonal thing. You know, it can't be like a lawn mowing event. That won't really make sense, but something that's kind of like a one-time task of the year, and kind of just get a bunch of people that way. And then you could just generate, you know, those relationships and word of mouth, and maybe even find another neighborhood that, because they're friends with someone or their mom lives in this neighborhood. And that's how it all starts. And you just start picking and choosing where you want to go and who you want to work for, and what kind of equipment you need for those jobs. And that's another thing. I did a little bit of everything until I realized exactly what I wanted to do, what I enjoyed doing the most. I always liked lawn care. But as I did more other things, I realized, I don't really like doing this too much. I don't really want to hardscape. I don't really want to do landscape installs and design, build, all that. I just want to focus on the maintenance. I want that routine, weekly, monthly work, come in, stripe the lawn looking real nice, cut it properly, and leave it looking beautiful. Treat it, you know, every month, or you know, whatever it is, the program that they selected, to keep it looking healthy. And then, you know, give them instructions on watering and remind them, and just have open communication, and hopefully you have a beautiful lawn. And then, you know, we'll trim the bushes throughout the year if they need that, and we'll put fresh mulch down in the spring. And if they need that, we'll obviously aerate and seed, because that's part of the, if they want that, that's part of the treatment program. And we'll take care of the leaves as well. So we're kind of like a one-stop shop for the maintenance side of it. And if anyone wants, I need new bushes, or these are dead, or can I get these trees cut down, or I got a guy, I'll refer you to them, I'll refer you to him, you know, like that kind of stuff. Because I just don't want to do that. So figure that stuff out real quick too. So you're not marketing the wrong things and doing too much. Try a little bit of everything, right? Because you never know, you might like something more than what you thought you would, or whatever. And some people don't like mowing lawns. They like doing whatever the other things are. So find what's good for you, so that you can market properly too, and take pictures of the right stuff. Because that's something I learned too. Like, I stopped posting stuff about landscaping and, you know, mulch and all these things, because then people were contacting me for all these crazy jobs that were similar to that. And I'm like, no, you know, you get, someone smart said, someone wise said, you get more of what you already have. So if you don't want to have a whole bunch of weedy biweekly yards, if you don't want to do a bunch of landscape maintenance, don't post that stuff. Don't do that stuff. Say no to that stuff. Start getting rid of that stuff. I got rid of biweeklies. I got rid of the weeds. I got rid of all this other stuff. And I only post the stuff that I want to do. Beautiful lawn striped, weeds eliminated, nice green, lush, fertilized lawns. You know, like I'll post mulch and, you know, I don't even post shrubs being trimmed, but, you know, occasionally I'll post mulch or whatever, but it's only like within my network of clients and, you know, in the neighborhoods that I want to be in and stuff like that. But that, you know, it's all with, if you sign up for yearly service, then you will include this, you know, we'll include that. We're not going to just come out and do it for a one-time person. That ship sailed after like
you have to show what you're trying to get more of, to your point. You know what I mean? So if you don't want something and you don't show people you're doing it. And I know in the beginning, when I first started posting pictures, things like that, I was like, who the hell would care? Like I'm mowing a lawn, whatever, like, or I'm cleaning up some shrubbery, or I'm doing whatever I'm doing, right? Or even laying pavers. Like, who the fuck cares?
Right.
Seriously, I'm like, and I had to get through that own limiting mindset in my head. I'm like, people do care. They do care what you're doing. The simplest, minute tasks you do in a day, I'm thinking like, who has the time to give a shit? The crazy part is everyone does. That's the crazy part. I'm learning that as I'm going. I'm like, yeah, that is interesting. And, you know, it's some people find it, and you never know where the message is going to land on people. You know what I mean? You never know where they are in their mindset. But, you know, to your point, how you so many think they go into business, right? They own a lawn care or a landscaping company and they have to market, right? We have to flip that idea. You're a marketing company that gets to landscape or do lawn care, right? When you flip that in your head, that's when your business starts growing, because it's all about the marketing first. There's only two things in business. It's marketing and innovation, right? It's that simple. So you need to be marketing. If you're not, nobody's going to know you, especially today when there's people screaming off the rooftops that they do this and they're getting all the attention, and you might do better work. But if nobody knows about it because you aren't confident enough to show them or don't think anybody gives a shit, you're the one losing out. It's crazy. It's
100%. Yeah, 100%. That's the game. The game is not striping a lawn as beautiful as it can be. That's the job, but that's not the game. Like, so many people can do that. It's who's going to be the best marketing, who's going to best build the best company culture to build a strong team. If you're trying to scale to that size, that's the game right there.
So Naylor, as we wrap up here, how can people find you? Man, it was a fun conversation here about, you know, all the social media stuff and how to do it all, but how can they find you or go further, and what can you offer them?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm a content creator through and through. I went to school for fine arts. I went to college for fine arts. So that the whole creative mindset of mine really gets satisfied by creating content, whether it be YouTube videos, podcasts, post stuff on Instagram. Isn't as satisfying. I enjoy it, but like, it's not as creative for me. I was never a big photographer. I love videography because there's so many more components to it. You can really tell a story, and the editing is fun. Same thing with podcasts. I love to talk, tell stories, and talk to other folks and share their stories. So podcasting is the newest content that I create, which I'm having a good time with that. So LCR Media Podcast is the newest endeavor. I mean, we hit over 100 episodes a little while ago. So, you know, got plenty of content out there for you guys. Been doing it for a little over a year now, the podcast part, but I've been making YouTube videos on Lawn Care Rookie channel, or LCR, for 8 years now or 7 years now. So there's tons of content, tons of playlists for setups and this, that, and the other thing. My original YouTube series, Get to Know the Pro, or a couple seasons where I would go to people's shops and spend the day with them, maybe watch them working, tell their story from solo to multi-million-dollar companies and everyone in between, some YouTubers, some not, just having a good time sharing stories and just creating content. So I'm doing all that stuff all the time, really focused on the podcast, still making YouTube videos, still posting stuff on Instagram, which then goes to Facebook because they're linked. So that makes it easier now. So I don't have to go to all these different platforms. So basically, if you just Google LCR or LCR Media, a whole bunch of stuff automatically comes up because I've been doing it for so many years now. So you'll see all the stuff.
I love it. Naylor, thank you for spending time with us today, opening our minds up to the social media world. I know a lot of guys and gals out there listening at this point, you know, they want to have that kind of presence in the social media world. But I know, like I said, my beginnings, I struggled with, why would people care? Or are my pictures good enough? Or how am I going to get the time to engage this audience? All that kind of stuff. But that figures itself out as you go. So the best thing to do is just to get started today. So if you're not on Facebook, get on Facebook. If you are, start focusing on how you can start adding value by just telling your story. That's really what it's all about. People care about the story more than they do about skill sets and all those kinds of things. Just get out there and get started. And as you guys know, if you've listened to the podcast before, our goal, Dwayne and my goal, is to impact and empower 2 million contractors in the next 5 years. And we're well on our way to do that. We're so blessed to be able to, to be part of so many journeys and so many people. And it's been really a true blessing. So Dwayne, you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No,
cool.
No, it's really good.
So guys, listen to what you've just, implement what you've just learned and get started on it. And dude, you'll look back in a year from now and you'll be like, holy shit.